Hello epic viewers from around the multiverse, prepare to bask in unprecedented glory, because today I'm going to be sharing with you my review appertaining to eating 3 meals per week as a hardcore raw fasting vegan. Unfortunately, to my dismay, my diet has become more stringent. I have pared down my eating decision, so instead of eating whole grains, instead of eating a host of fruits and vegetables, I'm more selective, and I've recently ascended into becoming a fruitarian. Now I'm very particular about what I eat. You could call it OCD per se, but I just prefer to optimize my house and do what's ever conducive to optimizing my health so that I could attain the highest state of being and maximize my health in every facet. So I do add turmeric to my meals, and in order to increase the bioavailability of turmeric and the absorption of turmeric by 2000%, I do add some black pepper, and I also love to add ginger to my meals. It helps attenuate inflammation. And as per supplements, I consume a vegan variant of vitamin B12. Let's get this out of the way. I sometimes consume a drop of niacinamide, but I've been abstaining from consuming niacinamide as of recently. Niacinamide is the only iodine that's safe to consume. The other two forms of iodine can bear deleterious effect against your vessel because the electrons in those other forms of iodine are unstable, but the electrons in niacinamide are stabilized and apparently safe for consumption. I also wanted to point out that I consume a vegan variant of vitamin D3. These little bottles are close to $20. They're almost as expensive as some Ash vs. Evil Dead Demon Spawn action figure, and I'm beginning to look more and more like this Demon Spawn action figure as I wither away and as my mind and vessel atrophies, wanes, and disintegrates in this little simulation you call reality. So enough about the antics and the frivolities. Let's move on. What will ensue? Nothing but unprecedented epicness. I keep prattling on and on for no reason, and I'm circumventing speaking about the main topic, but this is just my nature. You know, I got to embellish my videos, I got to augment my videos, I got to amplify the intrinsic value of my videos so that they put on the facade of delivering unprecedented value to the multiverse. But in reality, to be candid, to be frank, to be sincere, to express my candor, I want to truly deliver on value and insights, and I want this video to be informative and provide you with a wealth of information. I'm bequeathing my knowledge to you from my experiences, and what better way to assimilate knowledge than be in the trenches firsthand and experience knowledge for yourself. So as per my experience of eating 3 meals per week, it definitely has had profound implications. It truly revitalizes me. I feel imbued with energy, of indefatigable energy, and I truly feel unwearied, to say the least. I'm very meticulous about what I eat and how I prepare food. I have everything raw. I'm not a fruitarian, which is a subset of veganism, so technically I'm still a vegan per se, but everything I eat leaves an alkaline residue in my body post being digested. It's characterized by a high level of alkalinity, and it ranks low on the glycemic index, so it doesn't really ramp up or spike up or greatly amplify my blood sugar. So the foods I eat help me regulate my blood sugar levels. So I do everything in my purview to help bolster my health in a sort of simulation and allow my vessel to decimate cancer cells in conjunction with senescent cells. And by eating 3 meals a week, I'm able to enter ketosis between each and every meal. You may say, how's this possible? Well, entering ketosis takes 24 hours if you dry fast. I dry fast for at least 24 hours post eating a meal, and once I enter ketosis, then I can start drinking my distilled water. My distilled water is derived from the ProPure filter, so it filters out the acute neurotoxin, aka sodium fluoride, which renders you docile, subservient, and which taints your mind and which clouds your judgment. But it also removes alloys, deleterious, noxious, metallic compounds from the water. So I'm essentially having purified water, distilled water, which I like to call it. As for my meals, I typically eat a packet of cauliflower. I believe it's about 12 ounces. I could eat significantly more, but I'm trying to minimize my protein levels. Protein apparently, or I should say ostensibly, shortens or truncates the telomeres, and I want to relengthen my telomeres. I want to safeguard my telomeres. I try to minimize my consumption of protein. I eat nothing protein dense. I eat nothing carbohydrate dense. 87% of my calories are derived from plant-based fats. I don't have any oils because they're oxidized. So mainly in a nutshell, in layman's terms, I just derive my calories primarily by eating 14 to 27 avocados per meal and at least 1,300 calories of raw, organic, desiccated coconut shreds. That means that the coconut shreds are unfortunately stripped of their fiber for the most part because they're dried out, but yet again, there's no other way for me to eat a coconut other than eating those raw organic coconut shreds that are devoid of additives. This coarse sea salt I typically sprinkle on roughly 10 to 20,000 milligrams per meal, but when I vitals tested, everything was fine. The thing is, I'm able to keep myself eminently hydrated. You may say, how is that possible? Because you're dehydrating your body, and dogs develop cataracts because they dehydrate their body by eating all that poisonous, artificial, synthetic, bastardized, adulterated, man-made dog food, which they shouldn't be eating. But I keep myself hydrated because fruits and vegetables are primarily comprised of water, and they contain water in its perfect form, which is 9 to 10 times more hydrating than having distilled water itself. Shocking, isn't it? But that's the paradox. You would think that, oh, you're not going to be as well hydrated by eating food, but you're actually more hydrated by eating fruits and vegetables than you otherwise would be by just drinking water. And if you don't believe me, you could try it for yourself, but I don't recommend dry fasting for a prolonged period of time. And even when I would fast for at least 120 hours on end between meals, after drinking just a copious amount of water, and to the point where I couldn't drink any water anymore, I'd be dehydrated shortly thereafter. I didn't feel satiated, and it didn't really quench my thirst. So, what way to quell the beast other than by eating avocados and coconut shreds? The melanin in avocados taste me, and avocados are just amazing. They contain all the essential amino acids. Apparently, they contain phytonutrients, macronutrients, micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, carotenoids, and the list goes on, and many other salubrious compounds. But in terms of experience, I guess it's been fruitful. I rarely get any time to eat. I scarcely eat. I abstain from eating for the most part, and I'm only eating 3 meals a week. Typically, now I'm eating on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. I work 3 jobs, so it's quite brutal. The jobs deliver unrequited brutality against my vessel because they encroach on my sleep schedule, and one of them involves hauling heavy loads, and it's quite taxing against my vessel, to say the least. But I'm willing to undergo the toil and travail to make inroads towards earning fiat currency and attaining sustenance, to say the least. But yeah, so the experience thus far, I guess I'd rate it really a 9 out of 10 for the most part. The reason I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10 is because one of the meals just feels kind of forced in. Every meal is 5 to 10,000 calories. It's a 5 to 20 hour eating session. I am flutterized. The fruits and vegetables, I eat them as slowly as possible. I eat in a certain order to minimize digestive distress. So we have some vegetables, then I have the acidic fruits, the subacidic fruits, and the sweet fruits, and I have the plant-based proteins, which are not in my meal, and then the plant-based carbohydrate sources, which are not, and then the plant-based fats. And that helps me maximize absorption. And before my meals, at least 15 minutes before, I consume my vegan variants of vitamins in the form of supplements. So a certain meal on Sunday kind of feels forced in, but I really want to feel refreshed, and I really need to maintain my stamina, and I need to have the strength to work on Monday, because the job I work on Sunday truly drains me, it renders me vitiated, it debilitates me, because all the heavy lifting for someone as scrawny and dainty and as fragile as myself takes a toll against my body. So I mean, if I worked all 3 jobs from home, I only work 1 job remotely, then I can make modifications and adjustments and give the diet a 10 out of 10, but because I'm kind of integrating the third meal into my schedule when I have the time, even though it impinges on my ability to work on Monday because I go to work with 1 to 2 hours of sleep because I end my Sunday job late at night. That doesn't work out too well per se, but at the same time I'd rather have a bit of a reserve. I'd rather build up the body fat as much as possible. It's not good to be 120 pounds and 6 foot barefoot. I should be significantly more weight wise, so I kind of have to ram the meal in if I at least want to maintain my weight per se. Can I sustain this? I should be able to, as long as I minimize the amount of manual labor I do. And I only do manual labor once a week. I had to test and sustain it. I didn't earn my doctorate, my MBA, and earned 4 certifications to succumb to the agonizing brutality of conceding to working a manual labor job. Is quite a albatross, to say the least, and it's quite burdensome and it's quite onerous, but for now I need to wedge it into my schedule. The whole overarching goal is to make up for lost time out of the workforce, because I'm in school for decades, earning 4 degrees, I earned 4 certifications, and the problem is with debt is interest accrues into the principal perpetuity, so it's definitely disheartening and distressful and unbearable to cope with, but I do the utmost best I can to empower myself, make inroads towards having a better future, and prosper and flourish. But when my meals encroach on my sleep time, and my work encroaches on my sleep time, when I get next to no sleep, and my life is devoid of REM sleep, it adversely impacts my health and is quite problematic. So the only downside to all this of eating 5 to 10,000 calories per meal is that obviously it's going to encroach on your sleep schedule, and you may want to be eating when you're not as famished as if you otherwise would be if you work at home. So I would like to space on my meals a bit more. I like to have at least 36 hours per meal, but that's not a viable option. I guess I could eat on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday instead of doing Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday for my 3 meals, but I don't want to go to my main job off 1 hour sleep 2 days a week. It's already bad enough that I go there on Monday on the cusp of passing out, and it's very arduous for me to stay awake, so I still do a stellar, extraordinary job. The customers believe I'm the most competent, most adept one there. I always try to do my due diligence, but yeah, so 9 out of 10, just because it will be time consuming, it can be costly from a monetary perspective, and if your time is very finite, and if you can't really control how your time is earmarked, you're going to have to kind of wedge in those calories if you want to sustain, or I should say maintain your weight, and sustain your vessel in this little simulation. I'm communicating with you vicariously through my avatar in this little simulation. My avatar provides my consciousness, a gateway to the simulation. This vessel, this puppet, this marionette, this essentially is my receiver, and I'm really rating the meal a 9/10, only because it's expensive, it's time consuming. Even though I feel revitalized, even with 1 hour of sleep, there's no substitute for sleep, and you're still going to be weary, fatigued, vitiated, and exhausted after getting that 1 hour of sleep post eating a nutrient-dense, healthy, wholesome meal. So those avocados will sedate you. They're your best organic sleeping pill, and they will pass you out. So 9 of 10. And that's my review score. Thanks for watching. I hope that you found this video to be insightful, enthralling, captivating, and bedazzling. Have a wonderful, marvelous, blissful day, and a glorious weekend. Goodbye.